What if the Earth suddenly became flat? Imagine waking up one morning, looking out the window, and realizing the Earth is no longer round. It's flat, like a pancake. What would happen to everything we know? Will we fall off the edge? Would gravity still work? Let's find out what might happen if the Earth suddenly became flat. The first seconds, pure chaos. The change wouldn't be slow or subtle. If the Earth instantly transformed from a sphere to a flat disk, everything would break. Gravity, which pulls objects toward the center of mass, would go wild. On a spherical Earth, gravity pulls us toward the center, which means down is always toward your feet, no matter where you are on the globe. But on a flat Earth, gravity would behave differently, if it even worked at all. On a giant disk, gravity would pull toward the center of the disk. So, if you were standing in the middle, let's say around what used to be the North Pole, everything would feel somewhat normal. But as you walked toward the edge, gravity would start pulling at an angle. You'd feel like you were walking uphill constantly. The farther you go, the steeper it gets. Near the edges, you'd be nearly horizontal, struggling to stand. Not exactly ideal for city planning. Oceans would go wild. Water follows gravity. On our round Earth, oceans curve naturally around the planet. But on a flat Earth with gravity pulling only toward the center, oceans would all rush inward. Coastlines would vanish. Most of the water would flood the middle of the disk, again, around what used to be the North Pole, leaving the outer regions dry and barren. So if you lived in Australia, South America, or Southern Africa, sorry, you'd be living in a desert now. The atmosphere would collapse. Our atmosphere is held in place by gravity. With normal gravity, air pressure is highest near sea level and decreases with altitude. On a flat Earth, where gravity pulls weirdly, the atmosphere wouldn't stay evenly distributed. Air would also get pulled toward the center. This means oxygen levels would plummet near the edges. Weather systems would go haywire. Planes wouldn't be able to fly in straight lines anymore. Not that pilots would know where to go, since GPS would instantly stop working. No more night and day. Remember the sun? That big ball of gas 93 million miles away? On a spherical Earth, we get day and night because the planet rotates. Half the Earth faces the sun at any moment. But on a flat Earth, the system falls apart. If the Earth stopped spinning, one side of the disk would be permanently lit, while the other side would be frozen in darkness. If the sun still rotates above the disk, as some flat Earth theories suggest, we get weird lighting patterns and inconsistent day/night cycles. There could be places in permanent twilight. Or worse, blinding light 24/7. Say goodbye to sleep. Earth's magnetic field? Gone. The Earth's magnetic field is powered by its molten, rotating core, like a giant dynamo. Flatten the Earth, and that core is gone. No more magnetic protection. This means the sun's radiation would blast us directly. Satellites would fry. Your phone's GPS, compass, internet, all useless. And let's not forget solar flares. Without the magnetic field to protect us, they could damage power grids and electronics on a global scale. Animals would be doomed. Birds rely on the Earth's magnetic field to migrate. So do whales. Disrupting that means chaos in the animal kingdom. Migrating birds would fly in circles or crash into mountains. Ocean life would get lost. Even humans who rely on navigation tools would be in big trouble. Not to mention the fact that ecosystems near the edge of the disk would collapse due to lack of oxygen, water, and sunlight. The edge problem. Okay, let's talk about the edge. Flat Earth believers often claim there's a giant ice wall holding the oceans. Let's assume for fun that this wall exists. What happens if someone reaches it? Is there a giant cliff? Do you fall into space? Or is there just nothing? In reality, the concept of physical edge makes no scientific sense. Gravity and physics wouldn't allow such a structure to exist without falling apart. If you got too close to the edge, you'd probably experience extreme gravitational distortion. Enough to crush you, pull your body sideways, or just toss you off the disk entirely. Fun vacation spot, right? Humanity's collapse. With broken gravity, no GPS, wild weather, and failing ecosystems, modern civilization would collapse quickly. Global trade would stop. Planes wouldn't fly. Satellites wouldn't work. Communication networks would crash. Climate patterns would become unpredictable, with floods in the center and endless droughts around the edge. Basically, we'd be living in a chaotic, primitive world. And probably not for long. Could life ever adapt? Maybe. Life is strange and incredibly adaptable. But it would take millions of years for anything to evolve in such a weird environment. Humanity, as we are now, probably wouldn't make it, unless we lived right at the center, surrounded by water, oxygen, food, and sunlight. Basically, what used to be the Arctic, that might be the only habitable zone left. So, should we be worried? Nope. The Earth is round. Always has been. Always will be. But imagining a flat Earth shows us how perfectly balanced our real planet is, and how much we depend on that balance every single day.